The zero waste movement has been spreading and slowly making noise to people and to different places. This popularity has emerged mainly because of the presence of social media. If a person sees something pretty on their feed, they are bound to be drawn onto it. And this is one of the reasons why the zero waste movement, though as an idea is so great, is actually harder than it looks if we have a misleading starting point. The most criticized point of the zero waste movement is its name itself. All know that zero means absolutely zero, nothing at all. In this context, criticisms have pointed out that we have to go absolutely zero if we want to live up to its name. And that's when the problem arises. No one in this world can produce no waste in their lifetime. Even if you've lived in a homestead, been vegan throughout your life, planted all your food in your backyard, lived plastic free. The moment we were born, waste is coexisting with us. From infancy to childhood, you were given some vaccinations that come in plastic syringes. You were fed in a plastic milk bottle. You were driven to school using carbon-emitting cars, and so on. If this was the ancient times, it would have been possible to live waste-free. But we also have to face a series of pandemics due to poor hygiene and non-existent vaccinations. Now, the critics really do have a point. Using the term zero is definitely misleading. However, if you were to ask a person who have long been following a zero waste lifestyle, he or she would tell you that this all or nothing approach is ridiculous. The zero waste movement is a journey, not a law. Following a zero waste lifestyle does not mean that you stop living at all. The term zero is used because that is the goal, and goals aren't always achievable unless you work on it. Defining waste is critical when you want to follow this kind of lifestyle. What does waste mean to the world and to you? If you were to ask people who follow a zero waste lifestyle, they would tell you that waste is something that you send to Earth's atmosphere and landfill that are harmful and have no nutritional contribution. Therefore, a fruit peel is not a waste because if you throw it in your backyard or in a compost bin, it decays and gives back a nutritional value to the soil. On the other hand, a plastic candy wrapper is a waste because when you dispose of it, it just breaks down into micro pieces of plastic without being totally decomposed and would only end up in the landfill, making soils infertile or in stomachs of animals, which are damaging to their health. Going zero waste just means that we have to eliminate the use of these harmful materials that give no value to the earth besides giving mankind the satisfaction of a convenient lifestyle. While the idea of minimalism and zero waste go hand in hand, it doesn't always mean that all zero wasters are minimalist and all minimalists are zero wasters. The concept of minimalism is taking value of little number of items as much as possible, but this also does not mean that they don't use single-use plastics at all. There are also zero wasters that own a lot of things, but produce little to no plastic and carbon waste. The reason is because they might have already owned these items beforehand and giving them away, or throwing them out is wasteful and unreasonable. There are zero wasters that love to upcycle items or buy hand-me-downs that are deemed by many as garbage. While it's cool to be both minimalist and zero waste, you don't really have to follow both of them strictly at the same time. It still depends on your personal choice. Following a zero waste lifestyle might teach you to use less stuff, but you don't have to stray away from the finer things in life if those things make you happy. If you really like something and want to buy it, one of the best things to do is to see if there is a second-hand alternative to that product. If all you can find is brand new, you can contact the seller to wrap it in minimal eco-friendly packaging as much as possible. We are all attracted to beautiful things. And at some point in our life, we've been guilty of buying something based solely on their looks. As the zero waste movement becomes so popular in social media, a lot of people have started this lifestyle in a misleading goal of achieving that Instagram or Pinterest-worthy pantry. Social media really had a great impact, in sending a message to the world that zero-waste lifestyle is totally possible. But this also comes in a variety of notions which will cause us frustrations in the long run. The thing is, only those at upper middle class can truly achieve that picture-perfect lifestyle, and most of us at the bottom are in not-so-pretty reality. When you follow the hashtag ZeroWaste on Instagram, you'd be bombarded by popular photos of uniform mason jars, cast iron cookware, wooden dishes, the low-themed kitchen, and we just can't stop forming an idea in our minds that we too can have all this if we switch into this lifestyle. And that's when problems happen which would truly defeat the concept of zero waste. Those who already own a house with perfectly working things might be tempted to switch into mason jars and bamboo dishes and hide those plastic containers that aren't so pretty. If you just owned a house and are yet to buy things, you might actually achieve this. But again, these things you see in social media actually cost a lot more than what's commonly sold in stores. It really just comes down on what you can achieve financially. You don't have to force yourself to acquire an IG-worthy home if the circumstances don't allow you at the moment. Again, reuse what you can until you can't use it anymore. Be it a plastic material which you already own, or an old spice jar that you are very tempted to replace with. One of the very first things that you might be tempted to do when you've just started your zero waste journey is to create your own products. You can always find these so-called natural alternatives to essential commercial products in Google. And boy, there are lots of them. We've all been guilty of making natural products at some point in our lives. For example, you can see in most of DIY skincare products on the internet that they use water-based ingredients without putting any preservative. Water alone is not dangerous, but if you were to make a product with water, and you store it for a long time without preservatives is what makes it really dangerous. Moisture is a breeding ground of bacteria, and although you may not see or feel it in your product, these dangerous microbes can grow there. You can also see some recipes that contain water and a vitamin E oil, rosemary extract or grapefruit extract as preservative, but they are all very wrong. Look at this article from a popular magazine, for example. It uses water as base for a lip tint recipe and vitamin E oil as natural preservative. This recipe is erroneous. Again, vitamin E is only used for added benefits on the skin. It doesn't work as a preservative. Furthermore, a lot of people are also fascinated with essential oils, that they use it in almost all of their DIY products. Misuse and overuse of essential oils can have dangers to humans and pets, as these plant extracts are highly concentrated. There is a recommended dosage for these oils, and the standard is 5% and below. If you go overboard, this can have negative effects on the human body. There are also some studies that found essential oils to have adverse effects with certain medications. These natural DIYs are really harmful in the long run if not done properly. If you make a product with these natural ingredients without researching what ingredients go well with another, then you'll end up damaging your body. And if you don't test the pH level of the end product, that's a whole another problem. A lot of us are afraid of the word preservatives because we always associate it with chemicals. But if you think about it, these natural products that we often use in our DIY recipes are all chemicals. The world literally is made out of chemicals. It just depends on how dangerous that chemical is. But of course, you won't put cyanide in your face. That's just stupid. Well, I'm not saying you don't DIY at all. You just have to do extensive research before making any types of product that you put on your body. If you're really not sure about the safety of each ingredient or if they go well with one another, you can always opt for a sustainable brand that offers these products. Only caveat is that some of these brands also have questionable recipes, so you really have to look into the ingredients that they use in their products. If they don't show the ingredients in their product page, you can email them and ask for them. A good brand is transparent and will gladly give out the ingredients as they value consumer education. If they refuse, then it would be better to find another one that will gladly do so.